This book helped me pay off nearly $100,000 in just 3 years before I turned 30. And today I'm going to be sharing exactly what in this book unlocked the brakes for me to be able to take my journey to the next level, create financial freedom and independence that has allowed me to show up on a whole different level for my family and help women get amazing results in their own financial journeys of creating generational wealth. So you'll want to stick around until the end because you don't want to miss a single gem that I'm going to share today. If you're anything like me, then you didn't grow up learning a lot about money. And I have interviewed at this point hundreds, if not thousands, of women about their challenges when it came to growing and building wealth. And one of the big things that I notice is how often women are saying that they're not reading books that specifically pertain to how to grow your money. And so I was not exempt from that. Just the same. My cousin gave me this December 2016 as a Christmas gift, and he had given me books before, but I had not read them. This one felt different. Maybe it's because there was a black girl on the cover, she's stylish, and it resonated with where I was at financially, that I was open to diving in. But I spent all of January literally devouring every single page, and there were just simple mindset shifts and exercises that I was able to do that helped me triple my income, manage my money better, and grow my business in record time, on top of having paid off nearly $100,000 of student loans and credit cards before I turned 30 in just 3 years. And so beyond being able to make this happen for myself, we've done it with students time and time and time and time again. The process that we've developed to help women step into their most abundant and prosperous versions of themselves. So if you are someone who might be interested in learning how to get on a proven plan to have systems and a strategy in place that help you hit your financial goals and do it without burning yourself out because you have the support, then I would invite you to go ahead and book a complimentary call with me so that we can sit down, talk about the exact steps you need to take to get to where you want to go financially and start living your dream life in record time. So the first thing that happened when I read the book was literally on page 25. Nope, it's 14. I don't have my glasses on. So let's just put them on. Stop playing games. So it's on page 15. That shows how much I need my glasses. On this page, right, there's an exercise, and I will read a little bit of it for you. Essentially, the exercise is to calculate your net worth. One of the things I have my students do in our community as well. Calculate your net worth, and if you don't know what that is, your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, and it gives you a snapshot of where you stand financially. So imagine, it's January 2017. I'm 26. I have a master's degree, yet I have nothing to show for it. I, because of this book, started to inquire about what was going on with my money and figured out that I just made $17,800 in 2016 with the master's degree, which when I looked it up was just above poverty level. So doing this exercise and getting an aerial picture of what was going on with my money was very sobering, to say the least, but also really empowering. And literally I have the little tattered notebook here of when I did my first net worth exercise, where at the time I was about negative $70,000. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be that. I want to be positive, 70. And then I crossed it out. I put $80,000 because I'm like, well, I want to have money. I don't want to just be at zero, right? And have a $12,000 emergency fund. And that was January 3rd, 2017. Okay? By May 2020, I made my last payment of my student loans and celebrated becoming debt-free, having paid off over $20,000 of credit cards and over, $60,000 to $80,000 of student loans. Okay? So that was the first thing I did that really showed me where I was at on a map. If you've ever been to like a mall or an amusement park and it's like, you are here, that's what doing this network exercise did for me. It told me this is where you are. And if you don't have a clear idea of where you're currently located financially, how in the world are you supposed to get to where you want to go, which you call financial freedom, autonomy of your time, being able to travel the world, create generational wealth for your family, let's say your kids, and or, your community, giving back. And so that's the first thing now that I notice looking back really made my path to success financially possible. Because strategy is going to be the number one thing that you need in order to get to where you want to go. When you get invited to a party, you don't just get in the car and start driving. You want to know the exact location so that you can put it in your phone, in the Google Maps or in Waze, depending on what you use. Back in the day, I'm aging myself, we used MapQuest. And because I didn't want to use the ink, I used to write the directions down sometimes, all right, and take it with me so that I knew how to get to my location. But, right, when you operate without a strategy, what you're doing is getting in the car and burning your gas, trying to drive to a party that you don't know exactly where it's at. And so the beginnings of this strategy has to do with understanding your net worth and what you want it to be instead. What are your liabilities so that you can start to address them? What assets do you have or do you want to acquire so that you're building your net worth? And that is going to be the thing that either makes you want to put your head in the sand, which happens to a lot of people because it feels overwhelming, it's scary, you don't know what to do, you don't know how you're going to get out of this situation that you're in financially. But what I want you to do is just shift your perspective from why me? How did I get in this situation? Why is this happening to me? Why would they give me these student loans and not give me a degree that was going to help me pay them off? No, I'm kidding. They gave me the degree, but I had to use it, right? Shifting from why me to what if. What if you could change your financial situation? What if you could get out of debt? You could save thousands of dollars, an emergency fund and beyond. That you could be able to retire because you have been investing over time to receive the passive income so that you don't have to work until you die. That you have options and choices when it comes to life, that you can afford your children's activities and take them on vacation wherever you want to go. What if? Put that in the comments. What if, fill in the blank for me in the comments. Tell me your what if. What if I could, fill in the blank. Because that's where I was at when I did my net worth exercise. I said, well, right now it's negative $70,000. And what if it wasn't? What if I was able to pay this debt off somehow and get out of debt and have a positive net worth and be able to save money? And for me at that time, be able to prepare if and when I was to be blessed to get married and have children, because I was divorced when I started my journey, newly divorced. And so one of the other things that I did, right, that was sparked from the book was beginning to write. Writing on a regular basis where I was at and where I wanted to be. And I have this little box and it says, with faith, all things are possible. It's literally a prayer box with a llama on it. I think that's a llama. And on the inside, it says, oh my gosh, I can't even read this, you guys. When your head starts to worry and your mind just can't rest, put your prayers down on paper and let God do the rest. And so that's what I did, which I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was powerful, right? But I didn't realize that it was going to shift and change my life like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I would write down every day something that helped me to stay focused in my journey. I would write down that I'm unlimited. I would write down that I was debt-free as soon as possible. I didn't want to put any timelines on it. I would write down day one because I wanted to have day one energy. If you want to be consistent and you want to be disciplined, then you want to have a day one mentality. Because most of us have a I got time mentality. Most of us got, and I have been doing this for a long time mentality, and we think we have time. Leverage that newness, the energy that you experience when the year begins. I could go on. It's endless, literally. I trust the divine timing of my life. I'm a world-class speaker, author, educator, amazing mother and wife, and I was not any of these things at that time. And so it's called scripting. And I put my scripts for my life in my prayer box, and I went to work. And so one of the other things that this book helped me to realize was that I had more in me than I was giving myself credit for. That while I had earned $17,800 as my income in 2016, that I could produce more, that I could increase my income, which really meant adding more value somehow. And so what was sparked by tracking my expenses and learning about my finances and understanding my short and long-term goals, developing, my money plan and a budget, which I did for the first time in 2017, March in particular, was really treating my money as if I was in a relationship with it, which is something that I talk about all the time now. That when we talk about controlling money, we are misconstrued in our approach because no one wants to be in a controlling relationship. I've been in a relationship where power and control was a dynamic, and I will never do that again. So why would money want to be with you if you don't treat it the way you would want to be treated in a relationship? So I started taking care of my money. Instead of trying to control it, I'm caring. We're spending time together. I'm inquiring. I'm asking questions. I'm writing. I'm journaling. I'm praying. I'm, meditating. I'm seeking to learn about it. When you're dating someone, I know this probably sounds weird. I'm a therapist, so this is kind of like externalizing. You court them and you're interested in learning about them. And that interest sparks their desire to want to do the same, to want to be around you. Same thing goes with money, as interesting as it sounds. And so when we're avoiding our money and we're not looking at it and we're pretending like, oh, things are just going to work themselves out. Like I have done this, and I talk to students all the time who fall off the bandwagon, as far as consistency and discipline with looking at their money on a regular basis for any number of reasons. Life is very busy these days. But are you too busy for a relationship that you say is really important? A relationship that you want to help you design the life of your dreams. And so if you haven't cut out time in your calendar, set aside money dates where you can learn more about what's going on with your money, develop a plan to experiment with what might be possible in your life, then I urge you to do that now. Put it in your calendar. Just put it in your calendar now and put done in the comments, okay? So that I know it's real. Here's your accountability for the day. Because when I calculated my net worth, the next thing that I did was dream when I said that what if statement. And in that dream, I said, okay, well, if I'm debt free, well, when do I want to be debt free by? It was, for me at that time, I was like, okay, I'm about to be 27. It would be cool to be debt free by 30. And it was just that pure. Just like children think about the things that they want and oftentimes get what they want. They speak their minds, they ask. That's what it was like for me. And I didn't know how it was going to happen. You can't be too attached to the how because you limit yourself when you do that. If I attach myself to the how, then things can't miraculously unfold in a way beyond my comprehension, which is where, to me, money becomes spiritual. And this opportunity to trust who I believe my maker to be and what I believe my maker is capable of in my life. I hope this is making sense. I really do. So I was like, okay, I want to be debt free in 3 years. What does that look like? I did the calculation, right? I'm like in my phone on the calculator, $70,000 divided by 3 years was $23,333.33 a year, divided by 12 months was $1,944.44 a month for 12 months for 3 years. Now, I didn't pay this much on my debt every single month. There were months where I paid hefty payments, but there were also months where I paid zero. Because during that year in 2017, I first started with managing my money better, because usually there's one of two things going on. Either you're not making enough or you're not managing your money well, or both. And I had both problems. I wasn't making enough and I wasn't managing it, honey. So I had a lot of room to grow. And we teach what we most need to learn. So it's hilarious and ironic that this is what I do every day with women, because I was the least qualified or the best qualified because of the life experience and everything I had to do to get myself in a different situation. I knew that the quickest and easiest thing that I could do was start on managing my money better. Like I said, having money dates and taking care of it. But in that process of managing my money, sitting down once a month to look at what was going on, to set aside what I could toward my debt, that I needed to look at how to increase my income. And so I did. Within months, I was able to triple my income. And then here's where things get interesting, because most people experience lifestyle creep when they make more money. In the process of applying for new jobs, I was getting rid of things. I had no emergency fund or savings prior to this. I was selling stuff from around my house, and that gave me my first initial $1,000 savings. And then when I started making more money in a full-time job that was coupled with my private practice and working at a university, for a period of time, I was working 7 days a week, I'm not gonna lie. But I had no kids and no other responsibilities. I treated it like I was in residency. If I was a doctor, how many hours a week would I be working to be a good doctor? You want a doctor who has done their stuff, that knows their stuff. I wanted to be, one, the best at what I do, which I am, and two, getting out of debt, which meant I had to focus and increase my income, and then use the increased income to pay down my debt, like I said I was going to do. So just because you're making more money doesn't mean now that, oh, shiny object syndrome, we're spending the money on things that aren't aligned with the vision we've created. This is temporary. For me, it was temporary. This is my story. I'm not suggesting you do anything in particular in your journey. Do what you want, right? But I always get asked how I made it happen. I started managing my money, looked for more work, sold things and saved, made more money, put the money toward the debt. Moved in with my best friend. Thank God for her. Blessings. Just so appreciative, because all those things helped reduce my cost of living. And God stepped in, crazy enough, to bless me with a position that not only paid me enough money to hit my goal, but I even was able to eat certain meals based on my shift at work. So it cut my grocery bill down too. I'm telling you, when you start to take steps toward what it is that you say you want, and God is watching you take seriously the vision that you were gifted with, that God's like, oh, she showed up today. Let me help her out. Just like having kids now has truly opened things up for me in a whole nother way, the lessons that I learned. That as a parent, you want to see your kids put forth effort before you step in to support them, because if they never exert themselves to some extent, then they won't ever know how to do things on their own. You know what I'm saying? Like they won't know if you aren't there, or how to be grateful or how to do something fully if everything is just handed to them without there being any lessons tied to it. And so this was a lesson for me. I treated it like that. I treated it like an opportunity to be able to learn something new, collaborate with my creator to design an entirely new life. Absolutely amazing. 3 years. That was it. The time's going to pass anyway. The question is, how are you going to spend it? The question is, how are you going to invest in it? Because spending is about consumption, but investing is about getting a return. And have you been getting a return on your time? Or have you just been spending it scrolling, spending it worrying, spending it dwelling, spending it in despair? I'm not here to say that we don't deal with difficult stuff. My husband had a stroke last year and almost died. I feel my feelings a lot. But I also try to redirect myself to be centered in the vision that I've been gifted with, to focus, because it typically leads to more than we could have ever desired. I never would have guessed that the choices that I kind of selfishly made in my financial journey, because I'm, borderline bougie, were gonna be connected to me being able to grow a business to help thousands of people all over the world. Thousands. That I get messages all the time, whether it's people that work with me or people that don't work with me. But the people that work with me definitely get way better results, right? If I didn't make the choices that I did, and I kind of have an interesting relationship with the word sacrifice, because it didn't really feel like a I guess sacrifice is an offering. It's a gift. I guess I did. I sacrificed time. I sacrificed, energy. I sacrificed things to give or to sell or whatever, to strip myself as an offering to change my life. And it worked. It freaking happened. And during 2020, a time and a year which was so tumultuous, sadly, for a lot of people, it was like one of my best financial years. I can't press upon you enough the urgency and importance of you making certain choices today that will empower you to have ease in different seasons of your life. What you do now directly affects how you get to live tomorrow. And what you're living now is the echo of the things and the choices that you made before. It's not about blame. It's not about shame. It's just about ownership. Because when you step into owning your journey, taking responsibility for the choices that you've made, then you're empowered to be able to do something about them. But if you have a victim mentality, like things are happening to me, like why did these universities give me these loans? Like what the heck? They should be blah, 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 blah. Like, I was sober when I took the loans, when I signed for them, okay? Every time. But I can only do what I can do. And I'm responsible for my personal economy, despite the outward economy. And I'm so grateful, and that's why I'm so passionate about sharing what I've been through and what I know and what I've learned and what's helped me, because that's what helps the next person get to the next season in their journey. So I highly suggest that, if you feel like it would be helpful to have a conversation, to talk about the specific details of your current financial situation, but also just your vision and your goals and your dreams without any limitation, without any, hole poking or scarcity mindset limitation around what it is you want to see happen, that you use the link in the description below to book a call with me so that we can chat. And if nothing else, I'll probably give you some good book recommendations. And I'll be able to let you know what next steps you need to take in order to make progress. And one of those next steps might be getting support with us. But beyond that, I just want to make sure that you leave our conversation knowing how you're going to get to where you want to be. I appreciate you sticking around for this long. I can't wait to share more stories and information and gems with you. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all of those fun YouTube things, and check out this next video so that you can see what's possible when you implement the strategy, the systems, and the support that are absolutely life-changing.